Good afternoon, Scott Redler, T3 Live. Welcome to today's recap. I got a little request for some more music while I key up my charts. So sit back and relax for about 15 seconds while I get my e-signal working. So hopefully you like this little tune. Gotta love Adam Levine. He's the man. All right, enough of that. You know what? At the end, I'll actually finish the song if you want to, hear it. So back to the action, back to the range, back to your tactics that you use. So today we came in at first 6:30 in the morning. It looked like the spiders we were down about 8-9 handles. By the time I came out of the morning call, we were up, and then we revisited those levels. Today was the perfect day to use a red dog reversal. The perfect day to have a calculated plan to buy a higher low and have a very low risk and make some nice money, as well as take some home if that's what you do. So I'm just going to get right to the charts. Look at here at the SPX. I posted this chart. I do it every single day. I talk about the ranges. I show you the range here, in the more macro sensors to show you how this was the bottom end of the range. I show you how this is the top end of the range and how we held the middle end and lots of trades along the way. So entering today, the key that I wrote down in my morning note for most sectors was right here. This is the key. The key. Did I say the key? Yes, the key. Right there. 2094. That is yesterday's low. If you remember, from Friday's low to Tuesday's high, a little bit much, right? What is that, 30 handles? So for the bulls to have momentum and keep the ball, I thought maybe we come in. I actually said, 2088 would be nice to hold. We went as low as 2091, didn't even get that week, and then reversed up and closed back at 2107. So two ways to do it. Let's go to the spiders to see how you could enter. I go over this a lot in the webinars that I do and some of the conferences that we were just in Boca. I fully went over the red dog reversal strategy. So the strategy is it goes below the prior low, which was right here, 209.24. You also had another red dog reversal, the gap. Okay, so there were two levels to watch. 208.96 and 209.24 went below it. You could have rebought it when it went above this or rebought it when it went above that with a stop at the low of the day, which was only 208.90. So you had a 6-cent stop here and about a 34-cent stop there. And we wound up going up and closing at 210.53, $1.25 higher. And look where we are. Right back to the upper end of the range. Will this time be different? Will we break out? That's the question that everyone in the world keeps asking, but until then, you got to make money along the way. This is the past red dog reversal. Here is your trend that continues to hold. I don't know if we need to do a few inside days in here, but if we did a few inside days, that would build a bigger platform to perhaps go. Now, as far as other sectors, lots of them did the same thing. Lots of other stocks did the same thing. The Russell, real quick. What did that do? Hey, look at that. It wound up testing, we talked about this before, the ascending channel again, which has been a much better place to buy versus into resistance. Okay, so now you had another little reversal here, and we'll figure out what could be next. That's taking it in stride. The mid caps, what did you guys do? Mid caps, boom, same thing. Did it break this ascending channel? Did the bears run wild? No, it held. And did you have a red dog reversal when it recrossed back above this 277.75? Yes. Okay, so still building. The banks that were looking a little wishy-washy, solid day. Okay, solid day going across, held support. Maybe we'll see if it gets above this. Some guys are still thinking this could be a bit of a head and shoulders pattern. At this point, no one truly knows except for you have one portion of support, which is right there, and then another, which it couldn't break below. So the banks are still in there. And then, what the oils drew. The oils actually wound up holding again, flagging. As far as the sector is concerned, this is when it broke above this, retested it and pushed into the 200-day, but didn't have enough power to break above, but maybe this time it does. You know, some were thinking this is a lower cup and handle pattern, but that remains to be seen. Okay, and sometimes this takes a little long to build. So those are the indices. The indices all could have fallen apart, but they didn't. You could have been short below yesterday's low and stayed short, or you could have covered when it went back above, got long, and enjoyed a nice day of movement. Okay, then you go to individual stocks. Individual stocks, I know it's earnings season. Okay, so Netflix, which was the most powerful one, still is somewhat just trickling lower, and you look at the size of the gain, not much to do there yet, coming a little bit below the upper flag, so got to take a little caution, but still, you know, I would just let it stay on the side as there's a lot more action in other places. Today, Apple wound up doing really well. We'll see what happens tomorrow, because Apple always, the next day, maybe gives you a little follow through and then reverses, but all in all, Apple's trying to poke its head above this area. Okay, here is your range. Here is the middle end of the range. Here is when it broke below the 50-day. Right there, took it back and then held today and closed pretty strong. So I'm still in Apple. I'm in a pretty big size. I owned it here into this day, bought some there, and then enjoyed a nice move there. So it's been a nice little move. So now the question is, does it do a earnings run into 130 or north of it? Because they're not till Monday. We'll see. But as of right now, it looks like it's above the moving averages. It can go if it wants to go. What did Amazon do today? Amazon still wishy-washy, but earnings are tomorrow, holding above the 8-day moving average. The longer it does some work above 386, the better it looks for if it delivers on earnings. Talking about earnings today, Facebook came out after the close, and I'm not exactly sure. From face value, just I don't want to get it? Face value? I like it. Woo. Anyway, the first number that came out was 42 cents above the 40 cents. I know the whisper number was 44 or 46. So right away, I said I'm not chasing Facebook here, about 1.5 points away from all-time highs, because it might take some time. The numbers were really, really solid, but they weren't like 50 cents, everyone has to buy it, every short in the world has to cover. It was more like very solid. Stock's been solid. Maybe on the conference call they say something a bit more exciting to get it going above the level, or maybe it's just going to need more time. So the people that might win are actually the option premium sellers. I've been sitting in the options since last week. I'm not sure if I'll get out of them alive, if I'll make some money, or it is what it is. Then I'll have to just revisit the stock. You look here, from the size of the move that Facebook has seen, definitely priced for perfection. And it did have I wouldn't say a perfect quarter, but a very solid quarter to perfected, quarter, but not gangbusters. Gangbusters could have taken it above 86, and it still could do that. I just don't know if it's going to be today or tomorrow. We'll see. This is when it had the cup and handle pattern. Remember when I was on Kramer and I said, I like the setup here. I think that they have a huge, huge future. Everyone laughed at me, and then boom, this was the first target, which it got above. And since then, it's been my go-to plan ever since. Here was your last little channel. It broke above, and now it's right there. So we'll see what's next. It's come a long way. So for it to break above this, it had to be super duper good and has to have a crazy conference call. Chances are so many people were playing options. The options specialists might even want to just keep it around here. So level 1 support is 83.50. Level 2 support is 82, and this is big support. I'd say resistance 1 would be above today's high, and then this is that major pivot. I'm not sure where it's trading now. When I came in before, it was right around here, so we'll see. Twitter, just to show it real quickly, still acts really well. We'll see how this acts tomorrow. Above last quarter's earnings, had a nice gap and go. Decent trade right here, another decent trade right here, and still, trying to perk up. It's not a great trader. It's just, something that it's been a good hold. If you bought it from my thesis, because I said this will be my best internet play this year, you're up huge. If you're trying to trade it, you have to be careful. At this point, it's got to get above this 52 to continue. It's still in this little rising channel also, so as long as it rides this, you could stay with that long. YELP, look at that. This broken name that we talked about targeting for a trade, finally got in the gap and gave people a little bit of a nice trade again. Here was one trade, came in retested, woke up yesterday, gave you a day 2. Still has a lot of the gap to fill if it wants to, but overall, little cash flow if you were not trapped in this thing when it had this outside day here and failed. That was your wake-up call to get out of YELP, and then this was your confirmation to get out of Dodge, and it's been in a downtrend since, so that was just that. Where a lot of guys made good money today, I tweeted out on Redler All Access yesterday. I'm like, I am long FSLR, long Tesla, long Apple. What else was I long? FireEye, and I was also long SolarCity. I don't think I mentioned it though, which was nice, which also had a good day. Tesla posted the chart too, so even if you didn't know, I posted the chart this morning right here, and I said Tesla is acting better. What did Tesla do to have me say it's acting better? A few things. First, it broke this downtrend. Okay, that's acting better, number one. Acting better number two, went sideways, digested some downgrades and some poor news, showing that they had some support here. So I said above this 213, it could at least get up to the 219 area, if not higher. And what did it do? It had blast off today. Boom. Big trade for those of you prepared. Big day and a half trade for those of you who took it with me yesterday. It's great when that kind of thing happens. SolarCity also gave you a nice trade. Came off the highs. I did sell mine. I had it, yesterday, sold into some of the strength, and now I'll figure that out. FSLR, not really. Actually, FSLR looks still pretty good. Not really stretching, but you do have this channel here, and it's looks like it's on the move somewhat out of this area, and it could continue. What did SPWR do today? I didn't even look at it. Also poked its head above this little flag above the moving averages. So there's still a lot of strong stocks out there, and like I showed you with the sectors, lots of participation. We'll see what happens. I think eBay came out and it looked like it was up a little bit before I left. They beat on earnings, but I don't think their guidance was great. We'll see if they treat that fairly. And tomorrow's Amazon and Google, and then we have Apple Monday, and we're right back to that tight pattern. So all you want to do is know where that resistance is. You got to know where this is. You got to know where this descending channel is, because when it breaks above this, if it breaks above this, if you've been short the market since the lows here, you got to figure out if you're going to stay solvent, through what could be a nice breakout. Last time it did it pretty much right around here, broke out above this little spot and had a nice move. You could actually see it a little bit more defined. Like, this looks more like the pattern than that we have now in the spiders, where here, it was the same type of thing. You had support, held above it, started getting wishy-washy, closed well, and then you could have covered right here before having to sit into a squeeze like that where you probably didn't stay solvent, or better off get it long, And it actually looks kind of like the Qs is setting up for that same similar type move above the 8 and 21 day now, showing support. You had a red dog reversal here in the Qs, right? What's a red dog reversal? When it trades through a prior low, right here, comes back above it. It actually engulfed it, gave you an outside day where, this is showing some power. We'll see if that continues. The old high is right there. So you got to know. You got to be prepared beforehand. That's half the battle, is being prepared and then executing when something transpires. Tomorrow maybe we're down a little bit and then it trades through. Who knows? But at this point, we're right there. And a lot of people aren't even in this market because our markets haven't performed. So if all of a sudden we start breaking above this area, people who did not perform because they shorted the market in 2014 and 13 thinking that we were going to go down, probably had horrendous performance compared to the S&P that was up, I think, 34% and then 14% last year. We're only up 1 or 2. So if we start going, it could happen fast because the people who are waiting on the sideline thinking they don't have to be involved get involved. People who are short because you have a lot of people out there seeing the market's going to fall apart, they cover, and that's what creates an action area. Maybe we have an action area, maybe we don't. Today there was nice action below the prior day pivot and back above, even using Monday's low. So tomorrow we'll figure out what's next. We have a lot to do, a lot to prepare for, and I hope you made some money. And now while I look through the rest of my little charts here, I'll let you listen to some music if you want for 30 seconds. Maybe you have a beverage. It's a good song. I'll be right back. See you later.